Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully insert all the data in our database, right? Now I want to check all that our validation. Like if you go to our user, for the user, our name field, I make it as a minimum length as a 3. But right now, if you make it as a 2, like I make it as a 2, one of the character. And now if you click as a save all, and now I want to run our server again. Okay, here I want to do, that is actually our server. Here I want to run that server as a node and then index. Now click as a enter. Now that should be display one of the message. You can see as a user validation failed. Name path as a name as a AR is shorter than that minimum allowed length as a 3. Okay, you can see it successfully get this error. So if you want to display this error in very locative way, then you can actually use one of the package. You can install one of the packages as the npm. They have the another package, okay, npm, and then install colors. So that will be as a npm install color. So if you now click as a enter, now that will be install one of the package in here, then our message will be display in very locative way. So if you search in npm colors in Google, you will get this type of package. Okay, I have already installed it, and first of all we have to just simply import it. Okay, here I want to do and to import, that is a constant. That is a constant. I want to do and to name it as a colors. Okay, colors, and colors here we have to require it. We have to require these colors. Okay, here I simply want to do and to require it. That will be the colors. So make that sure you load it. Okay, see here I simply import these colors. Now I want to do our messages. I want to display this message with this color. That means that is our error message, right? So into this error message, now I want to change it here. I want to add one of the format. Which format you want to display? I make it as a colors, and I also want to make it as a red. That will be as a red type. And then I want to make it as an underline. Okay, that will be as an underline, and also I want to make it as a bold. So then that will be display in just with this format. Okay, here I simply added our message. Okay, so that will be our error, and this our error message. So then our message will be displayed with our this condition. Which color will be as a red, that will be as an underline, and that will be as a bold. Now if you want to check it again, now click as a save all, and now I want to check again with this node and then index. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see now that is actually displayed like that way, which is very locative, right? You can see there is the same message, but right now that is our formatted as a color is a red, underline, and there is underline, and also there is a bold. Okay, so here we checked our name field, right? We checked that name field, our first validation. That means our maximum length, minimum length is now perfectly get this error, and also I make it as a required as a true. So if you make it as a, like I remove it, okay, I remove this name. Now click as a save all, and now here I want to run it again. I want to run that node. Okay, node and then index. Now click as a enter. Now that should be get another one, but here it's inserted this data without name. If you go, you can see that will be as a required, not that required. That will be as a required. So that is a required as a true. And also here I have already added, you can see that will be as a required. I have already used it in password is perfect. So now that should be obviously on the required, not that required. Okay, now let's check this out. Click as a save all. I want to run it again, and then node, and then I want to use it as a index. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see now it's perfect. Now it's perfectly get that our validation as user validation failed, name path name is required. Before it's already saved this data in our database. If you go to our database, now I want to refresh it. You can see without name actually is inserted this data. So better I want to remove this data. I simply delete it. Great. I hope you get some of the idea. That means our name field, our minimum length, maximum length, required, every validation is now successfully get right? Now I want to check our another validation, that will be as a age. So first of all, I want to make it, click as a control set, and name, I name it as a Aryan. Okay, Aryan. And length I want to do right now, I make it as a I guess a 10. Okay, age I make it as 10, but here our condition that will be as a minimum less than 18, right? If they have minimum less than 18, then that will be displayed on the message as the age cannot be less than 18, then that will be display out this message. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. In our index I have made it and take it as a 10. Right now I want to check it again as a node index. Okay, index. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see it's now successfully get our this error as a user validation failed. Age cannot be less than 18. So when it will be get any error, it will be not save this data in our database, right? After all that procedure, when that will be complete, you can see it's not saved. After when all that procedure will be complete, then that will be save this data in our database. So right now I make it as a Ctrl Z as a 40, which is totally fine. Now to check out another validation for the email, here I have already created another custom validation, right? So now let's check this out. I make it as a only our email format will be as a name. Now click as a save all. I want to check it again with the node index. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see it successfully get this validation as a user validation failed, email is not valid. Okay, great. So here our this validation is also successfully working. That means our email is working. And also if you want to check that password field is the required. So if you delete this password, okay, I just simply remove it. Now click as a save all. And now I want to check it again. Okay, here I want to check it again as a node and index. Click as a enter. Now you can see it's also get that our validation message as a password is required. Great. That means all that our validation is successfully working, right? So now I want to add that another sanitization. So what is exactly that sanitization? Sanitization is that when your everything is perfect, when this data will be inserted in your database, if you want to add some of the condition, like it should be insert this data in our database in proper. Okay, so here if you want to add it like if there have any spaces in your name, okay, if there have any spaces in your name, if you want to just sanitize it, you can actually sanitize it. That means all that your spaces, it should be automatically remove these spaces and it should be save this only the name. So if you want to do that work, you can do that work with using that sanitize. Here there is also another function as a trim. Okay, here we have to make it as a trim, and trim I want to make this trim as a true. Okay, that will be the true. That means right now if there have any spaces in your string value, that is our name field, into the name field, if there have any spaces, then automatically with this stream it will be remove all that spaces. And also like as the email, for the email, if you want to make this email, whatever the email will be submitted, if you want to make this email as a unique, then you can actually do that work with using that sanitization. Like here for the email I want to add another one. Okay, I want to add another one as a, you can make it as a required also. I want to make this as a required, and then required I make it as a true. Okay, I make it as a true. And I want to add another sanitization that will be as a unique. Okay, that means this email will be as a unique in our database. If there have any repetitive email, that means the same email, then that will be actually not executed. So here I make it as a unique as a true. Okay, true. That means right now our email should be as a true, when it will be save this data. Like if you go to our database, into the database I have already added one of the email as a ryan@gmail.com. So right now I make this field as a unique. Okay, that is email will be unique in our database. So if you now save again with the ryan@gmail.com, then that will be not inserted in our database. So we can actually manage everything with this sanitization as a unique, and also the trim for it will be remove all that your spaces. Just simply remember all that sanitization code. Okay friend, so if you also want to add another one like as a lowercase, all that if you pass anything in uppercase in here, automatically that will be changed in our database with the lowercase. So for the lowercase, there is also another sanitization that will be as a lower case. Okay, lowercase I want to make it as a true, so that will be as a true. Okay, and also if you want to add the trim, you can also add the trim. As I told you, trim will be remove all that your spaces, so now that will be as a true. Great. So now if you want to check it, click as a save all. Now I want to insert some of the proper data, name as a Aryan, and with this name area I want to pass some of the spaces. Okay, here I simply pass some of the spaces. An email that should be as a unique, so for the reasons here I make another one as a kazi@gmail.com. Now if you click as a save all, and now I want to store this data as a node index. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see it's now successfully inserted this data in our database, and into the name area you can see I have already added some of these spaces, but here you can see it's already removed all that spaces. So that is executed by the trim. I make this trim as a true. right? For the email field, that means for the name field, I make that trim as a true. For the reason it's remove all the spaces. Now I want to check out another one. I make it as a for the email. For the email, I make it as a lowercase, right? Lowercase, if you want to check it, I make that as a Kazi, as a capital Kazi. Now that should be as a change, right? I want to check it, click as a save all. And now if you go there, click as a node, index, now click as a enter. Now you can see it's now display as a database is connected and email the duplicate key error collection. You can see this email is already exist. This email is already exist in our database. If you refresh it, before I have already added that kazi@gmail.com. For the reasons you can see it's now display our this validation. That is our another validation I have added in our user as a unique, right? That is our email should be as a unique. For the reasons it's successfully get it. Now I want to check another one with the name as a Raju. Okay, I make it as a Raju, and now that here I make it total as a capital Raju. Okay, so that is a capital. Now that should be change it. Now that should be changed to the lowercase, right? Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now I want to check it as a node, index. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see it's now successfully inserted data in our database in our which format? That is a lowercase format, right? If you go to our database, now click as a refresh. Now that should be another one as a Raju. Now you can see it's now successfully inserted with the lowercase. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. Okay, and also if you want to make that name as a unique, only you have to make this name that is unique will be as a true. For the name you can actually add it. Okay, so as I told you, it will be check it in our database. If there has any duplicate user, then that will be display this type of the message. Okay, that is already exist or something. Okay friend, I hope you get some of the idea how to add some of the validation, how can check this validation, and also how can working with the sanitization. So in the next video I will do the same things for our task. Okay, so thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.